back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are no longer in Baltimore. We are out Route 26. They call it Liberty Road right off the Beltway. Had a really nice crab cake at the Crab Queen out there in Randallstown. It is all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. We're letting ourselves play for being our contestant. Did John already steal my... No, he didn't. They have my lottery ticket. John Maroon's going to get a lottery ticket, as is our friend Dante Liberatore. We're in Liberatore's. We're in Eldersburg. It is all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Goodwill Industries. I'm filling the truck up here with spring stuff. I put my Window Nation hat on because it always feels like I'm dealing cards in the Odd Couple when I'm wearing this. I was going with my Furio Liberatore. I wanted to be an honorary Liberatore out here by having my Furio hair.
I thought I had long hair.
Well, I mean, Maroon remembers when my hair was long the first time back in the 90s. It's also brought to you by the Restaurant Association of Maryland, beginning September 16th to the 25th. Places like Liberatore's all over the state, 24 counties, all the municipalities. Showing off, making a deal, incenting you to come on out and enjoy local. And there's a whole bunch of Libs Grills and Liquid Libs and Liberatories for you to enjoy. Dante graced us with the stories and the Spanish, the Italian, the English. John Maroon now steps into the cockpit for Mike McKelvin at 1620. And by the way, you picked the right show to come to, Maroon, because I got beer, I've got rock and roll 1623, and this
1623 does some magic stuff. This is
What's
great.
your beer over there? You had one you like, right? This is the rock and roll. I've heard of Malbecs from Argentina. This is a Maibach.
A Maibach.
It's a honey Kolsch. Delicious.
You had me at hello.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
John Maroon's here. What do I say about you?
Oh, God.
So I graduated high school with this guy in
Yes.
1985 at Dundalk High. I'm Colgate, he's Berkshire, in the neighborhood that would... The only thing you could say, we were Dundalk and they were Patapsco. We could all agree on that. We already went through the Dundalk-Essex thing with McKelvin, who's from Essex. I've known you, and you probably don't remember this, but when you were...
I think everybody remembers where they were when they met Nestor.
No. Jack Gibbons of the Evening Sun hired me. He told his old Villegia stories about scrubbing dishes. I scrubbed dishes at the News American and the Evening Sun as an agate clerk. And I had a thing for my scoreboard page. So page 2 of the Evening Sun, still to this day, compiled by Nestor Aparicio. And I treated that the way you treated these meatballs, Dante. Let me tell you what, with a lot of love. Other than the lottery numbers, which I effed up all the time, and I joke with my lottery friends that Jack Gibbons thinks it's amazing that I'm sponsored by the lottery when all I ever did was screw up the lotto numbers. Almost got me fired. Jack Lemon called me. I got called into the big guy. You can't screw. We love you, kid, but you can't screw up one more meatball. You know what I mean? So I had your name. You were the Cleveland Indians PR guy.
Oh, so this is predated 95.
Okay, so I had to write to every PR director, NBA, NHL, baseball, football. This is when we didn't have a football team, right?
Yep.
I wanted our stats to be impeccable, and I wanted to know the best way to deliver stats. So I wrote letters to every John Maroon in Cleveland and Bob DiBiasio.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not pulling.
Bobby's still there.
Right? Bob DiBiasio was probably one of your sponsors along the way coming out of the NBA.
He was.
But I remember your name, and when you got the gig with the Orioles and Rick Vaughn left, I'm like, Maroon, that's like a color. I know that guy, And then you came in at a really interesting time. I mean, Oriole baseball, you go back to 92 and Sutcliffe and all that. I mean, you weren't too far behind all that.
No, I got really lucky in that. So thanks. I mean, my timing, the first year, I moved to Baltimore to take the PR director's job with the Orioles, and my first year was Cal's record year, right? So he and I were thrust together. Fortunately, hit it off really well.
So strike, you were in Cleveland in 94?
When the strike hit, I was in Cleveland, and then I was trying to figure out what's next, what do I want to do, and an opportunity arose with
Well, Phil Regan was involved in that, right?
He was. So it was interesting. I took a job really briefly with the National Basketball Association. While I was there thinking I miss baseball. Charles Steinberg, who was with the Orioles back then. The good doctor called me up and he said, hey, I was out at the All-Star game in Phoenix, the NBA All-Star game. Look, Frank Robinson's daughter needs some tickets. Can you help her? I said, sure. He goes, by the way, how do you like it? I said, I miss baseball. He said, nobody knows this yet. I'm moving to San Diego with Lucchino. And this job's open. He was the PR guy.
And Baker Koppel,
briefly,
too.
Yep, and Baker. And briefly.
And Eddie Epstein.
There was a whole bunch of them. And he said, quick, send me your stuff. So, ran to the business center, typed up back in the day, had to type up the resume, sent it to him, called Phil because he had just gotten the job as a manager. And, and one thing led to another, moved to Baltimore, and that was my first year here. And then the next 2 years American League Championship Series. So
and the
timing is everything.
Here.
And the Ravens moved here, which was ironic because Kevin Byrne was the PR guy at the Browns. He calls me out of nowhere, like right after the announcement of the move. We're coming there. Like, can you give me a rundown of all the media guys in town?
Stay away from Nestor, whatever you do.
Lead note, stay away from Nestor. And Kevin and I knew each other in Cleveland, and he's here, and the Browns are. Timing's everything. I was very fortunate.
Well, and Cal, and there's Cal,
oh my
and
God.
Cal, and Cal,
yeah.
right? I mean, people
sure.
think of you. You are. When I think of walking the Great Wall of China in 2007
we did that together.
with you
yeah.
and with Cal Ripken, I mean, you are attached to Cal, and much in the way of 31 years of me doing sports, you're attached to sports.
Today is his 62nd birthday today, by the way. It's Cal Ripken's birthday.
I hope he's having a crab cake.
He
is
actually
as good as the
down,
one Dante's going to bring
he's
out.
He's down south, and he's definitely having a good time.
Thanks to wait on him and Mimos.
Oh
yeah?
my God, right, Mimos.
Get you on mic, brother. Go ahead.
Dante, they were all in Mimos back in the day,
Absolutely.
weren't they?
Jim Palmer. Jim Palmer was friends with Mimo and Marianne.
Yeah.
Cal was his wife's Kelly's ex.
Kelly.
Yep.
Tall, beautiful, gracious. I was a simple.
You were a kid.
I was a waiter at the time. I was maybe 19 years old. Always great. Always a prince.
Well, I tell you what, we're out here trying to do the Crab Cake Tour and bringing people together. You got big news with the BMW, right? Hey, you and McKelvin. By the way, free plug. I got to get some 1623. This is local brewers and local businesses coming together. You have like a real friendship with McKelvin. When the mic went off, they're making golf plans. Of all things, they're golfers, right?
Yeah.
So golf is one of those things bringing people together. And the BMW brought the whole community together.
You know, we were talking a little bit, not jumping on John, but we were talking about how the roots we go back to Hollandtown, literally, something we're very proud of. And a lot of these buddies do not golf. And I love these guys, but, you know, nobody at the age of 55 is saying, hey, Dante, we're playing 11v11 soccer. We need one more player. That doesn't happen. But in golf, it does.
Yes.
So the friends that I have from that area, they're all friends of mine. I'm still friends, but the ones I really still keep a strong relationship with are the ones besides the ones we go out drinking and eating, but we also golf. Because it is a conduit for just new times. You get together, you talk about the old days, that's great. But golf, in my opinion, is just an ability. Yesterday I golfed with my oldest and my youngest. It's a beautiful thing. If I play soccer with them, they do circles around me. What am I going to do with them?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a game,
you're going to blow an
life.
ACL.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So you can bet. You can drink. You can smoke a cigar. You get on a motorized vehicle to take you to where you hit your ball. It's a beautiful thing, that's right.
It is a game for life.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Well, I'm not a golfer. I've learned how to hold it not like a baseball bat, like an Aparicio, but golf and bringing people together. And you talk about this, what you did last year and what the community came together out of Caves.
Crazy.
I told this story.
Oh, congrats! That was a rock star.
That was great.
Rock star.
I've never done business
Valley.
with Dante, and whenever I came in here, here comes the crab cake. Bring that in. This is
Look at
crab
that.
cake
That is
tour.
a thing of
Bring
beauty.
that on in here. So crab cakes bring people together, as does golf.
Boom.
But
Look at that.
I came to him many years ago. I said, Dante, we went to school together. You sponsor my show. And my signal comes out. He said, I'm not a sports bar, right? And you're known for sports, whether NBA, the Cleveland Indians, the Orioles, Cal, golf. But you've done a lot more than, beyond sports for me, for you. Sports is a glue, and golf, and baseball, and the Ravens. I mean, it's a starting point for relationships, right? And for everything you've built with your company that I want to call Maroon PR, but you're like a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, no, thanks. So thanks for the nice entree and nice plug. Yeah, we were excited last week to announce the return of the BMW Championship to Baltimore in 2025. What a coup. Hats off to Steve Fader and Buddy Marucci, those guys up at Caves Valley Golf Club. They worked to make it happen.
Bravo.
Well, the only way it happens the second time is the first time.
That's it.
It was just memorable. It was really memorable.
Yes, I asked Steve Fader, so when did you kind of have these conversations? He said Sunday, right after the playoff, they said, when can we come back?
Is that right?
And then the negotiations began and all the talks began and the announcement just happened. But 25 nights come back. But to your point, it doesn't come back if the fans don't go crazy, if it's not. The numbers are through the roof. It's clamoring. If you remember, it was a typical Baltimore August weekend, too. It was 1,000 degrees.
Did he miss the putt for a 59? Is that what I remember? Brooks? Did he finish with a 60 that round?
Oh, the third round? The fourth
I don't
round?
remember.
Fourth round to get the playoff?
Right?
I think he might have.
He almost...
He played a ridiculous round to get into the playoff. I remember you're right.
I mean, I'll stick to talking to pasta and wine.
Well,
I remember him almost shooting a 59, and I thought on one of the last days, because he missed a relatively makeable putt, and he would have scored one of the best scores ever at Case Valley, from what I recall.
So he's a Berkshire guy. When's the first time you pick a golf club up?
Great question. Everybody's been playing golf their entire life. Me, I didn't know what end of the golf club to grab to. I was.
Well, you were a soccer guy. You were.
Yeah, it was soccer and poker. But
I got my poker.
35, Nestor.
Wow.
I was 35, and golf was not something you did when you're a city boy.
Yeah.
It was just what. But
did you play baseball? I don't remember you playing baseball.
God, no. God,
Italian kids didn't. In the East Side, they all played soccer.
Yeah.
Either you were a soccer player or you were a waiter. That was our two sports.
Well, I mean, you give me a little background on the crab cake here, because I said to John a year and a half ago, I'm going to bring people together. And John was magnanimous with the Restaurant Association, one of our first sponsors. Much love for the Maryland Lottery and Goodwill and our friends at Window Nation for putting this thing together. But this is really, the Restaurant Association, what we're doing for Restaurant Week, it's about small business. And my thought on the crab cake, it all started when all of you were, first off, sports stop, football stop, baseball stop.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, I know business leaders, they all need help, curbside, building berms, building carry out, trying to figure out how to send French fries home, you know what I mean? Some stuff just doesn't. I told my wife I'm getting a snowball out here on 26 on the way back.
Yes.
I'm not bringing her one. I can't. You know what I mean? It's going to melt.
Yeah,
you know?
never
But
make
you
it.
learn these things as your business changes, and the restaurant industry devastated through all this, and as you know, being in the community, it's the cheers of every community. And I knew when I called him last summer, he pulled crab cakes off because it was $55 a pound.
We did. We took it off for a little while.
I went to Tillman Island, couldn't get a crab cake last summer. But bringing crab cakes back, I knew this would be a centerpiece of doing all this, and every restaurant association place is showing off in a couple of weeks.
It's such a great initiative that you came up with, Nestor, and I'm glad Ram Restaurant Association got behind it, because there's so many great places. And Maryland, you take pride in making a great crab cake. And I mean, Libs is most famous, I would argue, for their amazing Italian food. But look at that. Look at that beauty.
Look, man, this just goes to prove a kid from Berkshire can mix meatballs and crab cakes
Look at that.
appropriately. So my mom,
big league
I
crab
don't know how
cake.
you made him over in Berkshire, but in Dundalk, and this is so great having him on, because I'm going to light him up right now. Watch him smile. These were when we were in the mood for crabs in my house, my dad would call. You ready? Ruggerio's.
Sure.
Corral. Ross's.
Bravo, sure.
House in Neptune. Schultz's in Essex. A1 in Essex.
He's got a memory.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Bill's in Essex, right? And then we could go into Highlandtown and go through different places. Gaddis's sometimes would have them. But my mom, we only had crab cakes one way. My mom would get the claw meat or the special meat, usually $2.99, $3.99 a pound, and she'd mix in the mustard, mayo, Worcestershire, and breadcrumbs, and pan fry them. Mm-hmm. And that's the only way I never knew of a Gucci jumbo lump. Jumbo lump only happened when you got the cuts on your fingers and you pulled the jumbo lump.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get jumbo lump because we go to Ruggerio's. My dad would say $6, $8, $10 or $12 a dozen. My dad would say, well, let's get 2 dozen at a 6. So the crabs would be like this potato right here,
Right.
Jumbo lump. It's like a jumbo shrimp. You know what I mean? Where was your experience with crab? You're Italian, man.
Well, there's a.
We didn't have this in Argentina.
No, we have it in Italy. We have it in Argentina. And we never had a crab cake in our home. So when we opened here in '88 as a small little restaurant, we didn't introduce crab cakes till we opened our Timonium restaurant, and that's 5 years later. As we learn, I mean, we're growing up in Maryland and being proud of it. But to say that my people come in here for dinner and have a fantastic ahi tuna or a lobster and shrimp tetrazzine, I'm thinking, Dante, your mother must have been a fantastic cook. She was, but you think my mother was making ahi tuna and lobster crab cake? What we learned from her is a sense of taste, a sense of seasoning, a sense of freshness. And then
East Side. This is an East Side crab cake.
Buonissimo. I think it's fantastic. But to say it's my mother's recipe is forget it. They grew up in Central Italy. They don't know anything from crab cakes.
I taste the Maryland in this.
Of course, it's done in the right way. I mean, everybody.
I like the crunchy.
And ours are never available fried because there's nothing that keeps them together. There's no breading in it. So
beautiful.
It's great.
So you only serve it
broiled. Only broiled.
See?
Fabulous.
Man, tough guy out here, Dante. You know?
It's something that we're proud of.
No, I'm proud of your broccoli because I need some greens.
Broccoli's good for you.
I'm eating, man. I'm drinking, man. I've been at 30 breweries. This is my 27th crab cake.
Get the man a vegetable.
Quick.
Quick.
I'm going to let you get out of here.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for hosting us. John and I are going to stay and do a...
Good
to see you. I wish you success.
All I'm going to do is hit you with Cal Ripken questions. Okay?
Bring
That's
it.
all we're going to do in the next segment. Thank you for the crab cake.
Nestor, you're a jewel to have in this community.
Thank you.
Yes.
If we slice you, you bleed Maryland and Baltimore, brother, and it's in your
Crab cake gonna
veins.
come right out of me.
And we're all fortunate to have you in this community.
He's known me since 1982. You know, we've
Wow.
known each other for forever. Same. Anything you want to say about Dundalk?
I'm proud to be from there. Hardworking
Oh.
people.
Well, I promised him in the last segment I was going to sing the Dundalk alma mater.
For what? Don't bother people. Give them something better to listen to. Who the hell wants to hear you sing? No one wants to hear you
You wanna
sing.
sing
This is a valid
Dundalk alma
point.
mater?
No one wants to hear
We
that.
almost won a state championship.
I
last
want to
year.
go back in the kitchen and slice onions. Can I be dismissed?
It's more fun than singing.
Are you
Dundalk.
going to shoot more videos? Are you speaking some Italian, Spanglish, whatever the hell
My
you're doing these videos?
the Instagram videos
I
we
put a
do.
video up of him. He's got his pants off, his shoes off. He's stomping on grapes
That's good
in the
stuff.
middle of a pool. What
We're making wine like Lucio Ball.
old school?
Amazing.
That's good stuff.
Your character, Dante.
I wish you health. Good luck to your
If
wife as well.
I say it like I'm from Holland Town, say Liberatores, does that offend you, or do I need to say Liberatore the way you say it?
Can you say it that way and still feel like Nestor? Can you
Liberatores.
and then you be you.
You be you.
You be you, bro. Don't worry about it. You be you. Everything will be fine. I'm
John
out.
Maroon's here. I got crab cakes. Arrivederci, Roma.
Ciao tutti, ciao.
There you go. All right. We'll speak some Argentinian, some Spanish, some Italian. Crab cakes, meatballs, all of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with Goodwill. Win donation. I've got my, what you call this? This is my poker hat. It's my,
Your visor. Your
it's my,
poker
it's my
visor.
dealing cards
Yeah.
hat. I like that. And our friends at the Restaurant
When you bet at
Association
the horses,
of
that's what the
Maryland
dudes
as
wear
well.
at the track.
Yes.
Well, the best thing is when I'm wearing this hat, you buy two
between
winners, you
one.
get two free. So that's the best part. 86690 win donation. We'll make sure we find them as well as the Restaurant Association, September 16th through the 25th. Places like Liberatores and places all over the state doing great food, showing off. Dante's going to be showing off. No rigatoni on the menu, right? I heard that around here.
Where'd you hear that?
You got rigatoni here?
We have rigatoni. We don't have it every single day. I mean, you can't have everything all the time. You got to change things up.
You know, I'm family with the Amicis guys up the street from your Villegas guys.
And they're great.
down on High
Roland
Street.
Key is great.
Roland, Scotty, all those guys, right?
They're terrific.
So whenever they pull the rigatoni off the menu, I bitch like Fonzie and Arnold's. You know, I'm like, what? No rigatoni? What's with this penne? It's not good enough. It's not thick enough. I
Right.
need something that holds.
And then the week before,
holds
people
the sauce. It needs to hold the gravy.
Right. And then 2 weeks before, this my bitch because they took out the farfalle off. You're impossible to please. You can't have everything all the time.
This is true.
You know,
It
Max
rotates.
Rice said that to me down at LP Steamers when I bitched about not being best of Baltimore this year. She said, "You won last year.
Exactly.
You want to win every
Exactly.
year." Well, I tell you what, you want to be a winner, come on out to any of the Liberatories locations.
Thank
Go
you.
see John if you can get him off the beach in Grand Cayman. Nick's busting his ass somewhere. One of these four joints he's opening from down in Howard County, right?
Well, yeah, we have one in Howard County in Fulton. We have one, of course, in Perry Hall, and I've recently opened in Bel Air in the area of Churchville.
Everywhere where every listener I've ever had, for every guy from Dundalk ever moved, right?
It's a migration of Route 95.
Or out west here to 26. We're going to come back, wrap things up. We're going to talk to John Maroon about the state of sports media, as well as the state of business and putting business back together. We're in Liberatories. It's all the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, bringing people together. We're going to be in Westminster on Friday at Rock Salt Grill, back in my homeland of Dundalk on Tuesday with the next governor of the state of Maryland, Wes Moore, as well as two other guests. Pam Wood's going to be joining us from the Baltimore Banner talking election at the State House, and Mickey Coachella.
He's hysterical.
I've talked to him about not working like he's from Hamilton. You know, act like he's out in the county. So we're going to try to keep it clean with Mickey. We're going to be in Dundalk. I know he wants to. He told me he hadn't had the Costas crab cake, so we want to figure that out. I'm having the Liberatories crab cake. This is East Side flavor. Dundalk and Berkshire and Colgate getting together out here in Eldersburg. Stay with us on Baltimore Positive.